Joining us now is Sean McInnes, GameSpot's own
Hi.
guy with the controller. What's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
I'm doing fine. It's a
The,
fun show so far.
The couch it's a lot more sinky than it usually is, and it was already pretty sinky as far as couches
You
go.
like riding low?
It's a little, Tom,
Is it
you
distracting?
didn't like put on weight or
A
anything?
lot of weight?
Oh, did you?
I
Okay.
did. I'm glad you noticed.
Sorry, that was rude of me.
Sean, what are we looking at here, buddy?
Well, currently we're looking at the gamma correction for Alan Wake's American Nightmare. This looks like a pretty good brightness
It looks a
level.
little dark to me. Easily visible was not so easy visible.
So Alan Wake's American Nightmare it's a downloadable spin-off of Alan Wake. It's a different tone. It's not quite as like serious and Twin Peaksy as Alan Wake was. It's a bit more kind of like pulp is what Remedy calls it, like sort of like a pulp, over-the-top pulp horror. Things are a little bit more exaggerated. It's kind of Remedy's attempt to just, you know, experiment a little bit with the Alan Wake universe.
Juice up that action a little bit more, like lean into it.
Juice it up. Juice up the action.
I'm surprised they didn't put that in the promo.
Juice up the action.
Alan
So-
Wake gets juiced up.
So,
American Nightmare.
Oh gosh. So one of the features in Alan Wake's American Nightmare is this new survival mode called Fight Till Dawn. And basically, it's 10 minutes. You're in a confined area. In this case, it's the cemetery level. There's like 10 or so levels. Oh, I forgot what the dodge button is. Tom, what's the dodge button?
I don't,
I think
RB.
I think it's no. RB is my. RB is pull out and
RB is
completely
throw
waste.
a ton of flares.
RB is completely waste a flare. I think it might be LB. Anyway, so it's 10 minutes. You can see the timer at the top there, and it's sort of like an arcadey endeavor in the sense that you are collecting points and you've got multipliers as you go along for how well you do. Ooh. And in this case, not doing well at all. But
It
it's
doesn't
sort of
multiply
like,
how many times you get hacked by a vicious sickle attack.
oh, it is left bumper. Did you see that sweet dodge?
So the gameplay is still the same in this, right? I mean, you're still
Yeah.
supposed to like suck out the
You
shine
suck,
on,
You use
There's
your
no sucking
flashlight to
involved.
suck
It's-
out their life essence,
There you
or you
go.
suck out the darkness.
suck out the darkness.
Suck out the darkness. I'm gonna get the sweet nail gun. No, I mean the core action and the controls are the same.
Okay, that's
It's
good
it's
because that was.
it's that whole you've basically one of the things I loved about the combat in Alan Wake is this whole idea of like you've got like two guns basically, the flashlight in your left hand, the regular gun in your right, and you start with one to weaken them and use the other to finish them off, and there's this whole sort of really cool duality there. So that's very much intact. The difference here is the types of weapons and the types of enemies. So this is still very early on into the Fight Till Dawn mode.
Nice dodge.
But as we keep going, I'm going to encounter tougher enemies, and hopefully I'll be able to pick up some more powerful guns. Even though, and by that I mean a gun at all, because right now technically I'm using a nail gun.
Which is more
A gun
of a power
in
tool.
really the loosest sense of the word,
Yeah, not a lot of force
right?
over distance.
Right, force over. And the cool thing about the nail gun is that it's actually got ballistic physics to it, so it's got like battlefield-style bullet drop. So you have to, if you're shooting a dude from far away, you got to arc those nails. It's actually kind of cool.
Oh yeah, you can see the little tracers.
Yeah, right.
So is there any chance there's co-op in this like horde type mode?
I wish.
Because that'd be pretty cool.
You have no idea how much I wish there was co-op in this.
Was it like a 3 on the wish scale?
It's 3 out of 3.
That's a lot of wishing.
That is.
Full wish. Full
So,
wish.
so this is still single player only, but there is like a full story mode.
Yeah, there's a completely separate standalone story mode in which.
How much does Barry figure into it?
I know that Barry is in the, you know what, I'm gonna use a flare because F these guys. Boom! You like that?
Man,
Flare is like the ultimate gun. That's so cool.
You know how cool it would be to play co-op with you and Barry and maybe one of those weirdos to the diner?
I like how you refer to Alan Wake as you.
Well, I am.
You guys
Alan
are
Wake.
chummy now.
I mean, think about it.
And one of the guys
He's-
from the diner.
Alan Wake is a writer. He spends time in the Pacific Northwest, two things that we share.
Yes.
And he also wears plaid shirts, which I do from time to time. Not today, though. Which really was a just
Missed the boat on that one.
Really missed a
Yeah.
great opportunity. I can't jump over this thing. I'm trying to.
You know, he's
Because
a
I'm
rider,
flashbang.
though.
He is a
Just
rider.
like real riders run 10 feet and then
There's
they...
a zombie ghost with a scythe coming after me. Please not to be murdering me. Thank you. Oh god.
That's
so
very polite of
to
you.
give you a sense of some of the different enemy types, am I dead? I might have died. No, I've played this several times before, and I actually have finished.
You've played till dawn.
I've fought till dawn.
Nice.
Did you see
This
a
time
like
I
a beautiful
fought till
sunset
about
was
3
your
a.m.
reward?
Fought till 3 a.m.
So some of the enemies you encounter are like, there's this one really crazy enemy where when you shine your flashlight on him, he actually splits into 2 different enemies, and then you shine your enemy on that, and then he splits again, and it's this whole sort of like crazy multiplying enemy. Too bad that I died, so I'm not going to get to one of those,
But
but
I mean, your
me
words
telling
paint.
you about it is just as good,
Your words
right?
paint a picture.
No?
So, like in the single player, do you still collect coffee? Do you still watch Night Springs?
Yes, there are. Well, not Night Springs. The single player is an episode of Night Springs.
Whoa.
It is an episode of Night Springs that Alan Wake himself wrote, and he's living it out because I think maybe
He's having a nightmare in America.
I think he might have like ate some bad fish, and he's having like a really weird fever dream. And he's basically fighting his own alternate persona, which is Mr. Scratch, this sort of serial killer who leaves these really threatening video recordings that you can watch. And continuing with the FMV theme from Vocabularium, Mr. Scratch is actually in FMV, and you get to see the actor that they modeled Alan Wake after.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's super creepy.
Super creepy.
Well, because he's a serial killer. and
8-year-old
he's-
girl
yeah, and
did the
he's
voice
got-
for Alan Wake.
Oh, and he's a serial killer, and he's got like these people like with bags over their head, and then he like chokes one to death, and you're like, oh, you.
That's way different than dressing up in a green suit with some ping pong balls all over you and running around a mocap studio.
Right. Very different. And yeah, so the single player story takes place in like this sort of like roadside gas station motel area in rural Arizona. And I mean, from the very start of that game, it's a lot more action focused. You pick up some heavy duty rifles and machine guns, and it's just a lot more sort of exaggerated than standard Alan Wake was. My hope is
Good
that.
times?
What's that?
Good times? Having fun? Sorry, what was your hopes?
My hope is that, I've only played like the first half hour of it, the single player story. My hope is that the combat evolves more than Alan Wake did, because that was
Yeah.
a game where you start out with this tool set and it doesn't really evolve over the next 10 hours.
That was like my one slight problem with that game.
Yeah,
'cause-
no, both
But
of
the
us.
core combat is like
It's so good, right?
really good.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that
Oh boy. I want him to have a jump kick.
you want him to have a jump kick? Well, here's a kick or a jump.
Now
And
just
then-
stick a little
Just
kick
stick-
on the
just
end and
stick
you'll
your
be all
leg out.
good.
That's all I want.
Technically, I think this means that I'm just sort of skipping around a cemetery.
And I think that skipping around a cemetery means we've reached the end of our demo time with Alan Wake's American Nightmare. If you folks are curious to know more about the game, go over to the Game Space and check out the Ask GameSpot feature that Sean and Maxwell did, answering a bunch of questions that people asked about Alan Wake's American Nightmare, and generally illuminating this game, which is slated to come out next week. And like Sean said, it's a downloadable title. Sean, thank you for coming in and showing this off.